Hey, if you'd like YouTube, welcome back to part 2 of Curse of the Black Pearl. Okay, so keeping myself busy until I get a few bits to get the engine room sorted out. But I thought I'd tackle a wee problem I've got here. My glass lids would go along here and right to the edge of this tank here on top of the brace bars. And what was happening was the water would be, the condensation would rise up, touch the bottom of the lid and then land on top of here, and you were just getting loads and loads of salt creep. I mean, the salt creep I was getting was ridiculous, and it just got to be a bit of a pain. So what I've done now is I've changed where the railings was and I've glued them in place on the actual brace bar now, so there's going to be no creep getting up onto the top. So the water will go up, touch the bottom of the lid, and then it's just going to go straight back down to the tank. So I'm not going to get any of that salt creep anymore because it's not actually sitting on top of the brace bars. So I think this is going to work out a lot better and make things easier. Right, so I had to recut all the glass to fit, and I've got that all in place now, and this is definitely going to change things. And I had to drill and cut this corner piece again, but I managed to get it to fit nice again, so that's fine. And it works a treat. And like I say, now that I've got the glass lids below the brace bars, condensation and evaporation is not going to happen on top, so I'm not going to get any of that salt creep business anymore, which is fantastic. So really pleased with how this has turned out. So that's just another wee thing done. I can tick off the list of things that were niggling me. Because I think we've all got little things that we think, oh god, I wish I changed that. So when you've got a tank that's got ick in it with no fish, what do? You start solving all your little issues that you've got. So yep, so this has worked out fine. So yep, pretty sure this is going to help get rid of that wee problem I had. Yay, finally, the plumbing I ordered finally arrived. Ended up, it took 2.5 weeks, which kind of had a negative effect on the Black Pearl because it was 2.5 weeks that I had no filtration, the sump wasn't running, and because of that I've ended up with a little bit more hair algae again, so that sucks. But back to the plumbing, I was originally going to have my reactor right underneath there, but I ended up having to modify this and putting the pipe to extend it away. So I've put the T-piece further along, which has worked out fine because I can actually tee that off again if I want to use another reactor. But with doing it this way, it means I can now actually turn the valves of both things, because before they were bumping into each other. So now I can turn on the drain no problem and adjust the reactor no problem. So that's worked out fine. And I've actually glued everything in place now, so it's all glued, and I've got heaps of unions so it can all be taken apart, and that'll be pretty sweet I think. So it makes it maintenance on it easy, and if there's a blockage, easy enough to strip it apart and find out where the blockage is. Now I'm still waiting for my plumbing to come for this tank, and it was the same company that I was waiting for, but should arrive soon. Okay, so I've just turned everything on, and for whatever reason this pump is going mental. I had to take that pump off. I cleaned it and did loads of things to it, but for whatever reason it just keeps making that racket, so that's no use. I'm not having that, so I've got rid of that and I'm using my backup. So this is a Eheim 5000, so this is going to run the Pearl for just now until I get another pump. But everything's running fine, no leaks or anything, so really happy with that. And finally the Black Pearl engine room's running again, so hopefully we can start to get rid of all the nutrients that will have built up this last couple of weeks with no sump running. hid the heater in the back there, so that's nicely out of the way. Got the phosphate reactor working fine, skimmer's fine. I've just hung a wee bag of carbon here, and then the exit from the skimmer is just blasting the water straight into it. So I'll just do for the carbon. So really pleased, no leaks, and really happy to get everything up and running again. So hopefully now we can get things more stable. Okay, so because I've changed things around, it means I've got this whole section free, and I was racking my brain thinking, okay, what am I going to put in here? Because I didn't want Miracle Mud, and I didn't want Cheeto in here because the Cheeto doesn't grow for whatever reason in this area. So I've decided I'm going to use, I could fill it up with live rock, but I didn't want to do that, so I'm going to use something else. And this is what I'm going to use, Marine Pure. It's a biofilter media. And basically it does the exact same thing as live rock. It takes about maybe 2 or 3 months to fully colonise with the bacteria and to work effectively, but this will reduce, this gets rid of ammonia, nitrates, nitrites. It's a fantastic product by all accounts, so I'm really excited to be using this. And this, if people use this, if you use this in your sumps, you could actually get away with using like a limited amount of live rock, so you could have like a really minimalist look in your aquascape, and this will basically take over the role of the live rock in your sump. Right, so that's the Marine Pure in place. The other modification I made here was I've changed where I've got my little shelf for my media. I had it at the top of this baffles, but I just moved it down to the bottom, and I've just got like another wee bag of carbon in there, and it's worked out fine. Okay, here's my Davy Jones locker. I'd been getting quite a lot of messages asking me how I managed to catch all my fish to put them into the quarantine, and this is what I did. I basically built a cube out of acrylic sheet, and I would actually hold this under the water with a bit of nori inside it. As soon as a fish swam in to get the nori, I just scooped them out straight into quarantine. This worked for about, oh, I think it was maybe about 4 or 5 fish fell for this. And then the others kind of got wise to it, and I had to use a different method. I used like, basically still trapped them, but used my glass panels that I had, and that worked fine. But now I'm just racking my brain what I can use this for. So instead of just wasting it, I decided I'll turn it into a wee underwater camera thing. So I've had another couple of wee bars of acrylic to hold a phone. So now I can stick the phone and record, stick this into the top of the tank, and obviously once I have some corals and actually interesting things inside the pearl to look at underwater, this will work pretty cool. But I'll obviously still use it to catch fish as well. Right, so I thought I'd give it a wee test run. So I've stuck my iPhone in here, and I've got it on record. So I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, but bear with me. Okay, so here's the footage from the iPhone. I'm not sure if it's actually focusing or anything because I'm still holding my other camera, but you get the general idea. So basically, once there's, I don't even care where I am, I think I'm over at Duncan. But basically, once I've got some really cool things in here, and there's cool fish and corals and anemones, and I think this will be pretty handy. And obviously I'll be able to do better pictures because I'll be leaning over the tank and focusing on it, but I'm just kind of moving this about just now. But you get the general idea. So I think this is going to be pretty cool once there's, like I say, once there's something interesting to look at. So yeah, really pleased with that. So at least it's not going to go to waste. So I can use it for that, plus I'll still use it as a wee fish trap thing, because it does work fantastically well, and there's absolutely no stress to the fish like there would be if you were using nets. So that's how I caught all the fish, shipmates, and this will be a handy wee tool, I think.
It's time you walk the plank, the plank, the plank.
Right, it's time for these flatworms to walk the plank. So, to ensure that I don't get any more flatworms in the future, every coral, every frag that I get from now on will be dipped in this Revive coral cleaner to ensure that I don't go through this problem again. And to kill the flatworms that I still have in the tank, I'm going to use this Flatworm RX. Now, I couldn't get this product in the UK, I had to actually get this from America, and it's totally reef safe, and it's even recommended by veterinarians, so here's hoping. Okay, so I've added the first dose, and the water's a wee bit cloudy like, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, it's been a day since I've added the product, and I'm absolutely amazed. All the flatworms are gone. I mean, there's not any little ones, there's nothing. Completely killed the lot. I've not cleaned the glass. Not doing anything in the tank because I just want to leave it, because usually when the glass gets a wee bit dirty, the flatworms kind of come up and you can see them like munching on the algae and stuff. And just now, absolutely nothing. Okay, so it's been a week since the treatment, and I'm absolutely pleased and delighted to say the black pearl is flatworm free. Hoo-ha! Get in! So really happy with that. Chuffed to bits. So I would like to say that the RX is awesome. It has totally got rid of it. Would it have killed everything to start with, or is it maybe because I've used a combination of the Flatworm exit first to weaken them and then use this? I don't know. All I know is I've got no flatworms anymore, so I'm really delighted with that. Now, back to the other issues I had, is the green hair algae. The last episode you'll have noticed pretty much got rid of it, but because this company I use for my plumbing let me down, I ended up having to go to PayPal and do a whole dispute to get my money back and get my plumbing elsewhere, like, but never mind, we'll no bother going into that. It is what it is. It meant that the pearl was running for 2.5 weeks without the sump, so there was absolutely no way of nutrient export whatsoever, and as a result I've ended up with the green hair algae kind of creeping back again. But now that I've got everything up and running, I'm pretty confident another couple of weeks it'll be looking spot on, and we'll get the coralline algae taking over the rocks work again. So, but overall, I mean, the tank's looking nae bad. Just looking down here, it's amazing how paranoid you get. You think, oh, hope I can't see any flatworms, but nah, it's been over a week and nothing. They're totally gone. It was recommended by a lot of subscribers to use leopard wrasse, various other wrasses to get rid of them, but the problem I had was because I've got ick in the system, I can't add any fish, so that's the reason that I had to try and find another alternative to kill them, and that's why I went with the RX, which has totally worked fantastic. But as soon as I can add fish back to the pearl, top of the list is going to be a leopard wrasse or some type of wrasse that will eat flatworms, to ensure that should any slip through the net and the coral dip that I used maybe doesn't kill them, or if there's eggs, because I don't think the coral dip actually kills eggs, could be wrong, but it would just be handy just to have that wee safety net. But yep, that's pretty much it for this episode, so thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.